Hi, and welcome back to Life Mastery School by Dennis Berry. I'm Dennis. And now we're going to work on anxiety attack relief or panic attack relief. We'll focus a lot on breathing here, sitting in stillness, and talk about some of the reasons we might feel this way and the solutions to overcoming or working through these feelings. Sometimes we can get so overwhelmed that we spin into a panic attack. We can get so consumed by fear, grief, sadness, anger, or whatever the current feeling is. And we simply don't know what to do, and our mind and our body shoot us into a negative stress reaction rather than a mindful response to the situation. And this is called a panic attack. These panic attacks can be very frightening, especially if you're alone and have no idea how to navigate through these scary, negative thoughts and feelings. So I'm glad you're here watching this video. Let's walk through this together. So the first thing I want you to do is to take a breath, or a few breaths. So let's breathe in, hold for a few seconds, and now breathe out slowly. Again, breathe in, hold for a few seconds, and now breathe out slowly. And now I want to say this mantra: there's nowhere to go, nothing to do, and no one to be. Let's say it again. There's nowhere to go, nothing to do, and no one to be. So let's breathe in one more time. Hold for a few seconds. And now breathe out slowly. So fear, anxiety, sadness, anger, or whatever are temporary feelings that we're feeling, they will pass, just like joy and happiness. Like Buddha said, the only constant in life is change. Everything is impermanent. So we want to become comfortable with our feelings, not judging them, just allowing them to flow through us. Now, I know all this can be difficult when we're in this state of panic, anxiety, or fear, but that's why we breathe. Remember, we need to continue to keep breathing. We need to remember to exhale to make room for the next breath. Let's sit in stillness and silence for a couple minutes before we move on. Great. So the hardest action in the world to take is no action. We want to fix everything, but all of the forcing to fix, understand, or change the current moment rarely works when we feel this way. When we feel like we're having a panic attack. So really, we want to get to a place of being and non-doing. I know it sounds crazy because we were trained or conditioned since a very young age to be doing in order to survive and be successful. I call it the gotta mind. I gotta do this, I gotta do that, I gotta. It's this conditioning that has us in a constant state of fear and panic. Think about it. Whether you have kids now, or if you remember when you were a kid and you always heard, hurry up, we're gonna be late, or come on, we have to go. These types of expressions start training our subconscious minds that we're always behind and have to move faster and do more. And it's nearly impossible to ever get there and be on time. But when our doing comes out of being, rather than just doing, we're actually more productive and less anxious and fearful because we're experiencing a more meaningful present moment. So if we do too much or try to do too much, we're overwhelmed and don't know how to respond intelligently and get centered or recentered. And sometimes we're stressed out because we feel like we're not doing anything or not doing enough. But we actually are doing. We're doing fear. We're doing frustration and sadness. We're doing debt. We're doing depression. We need to get recentered, back on the beam, so to speak. It's from this centered position that we can step forward in the right direction, in a positive direction. And how do we get recentered? We get recentered by breathing, or breathing again, by doing less and being more, and at our own natural pace. Life has a natural rhythm, a natural cadence that we've been removed from as human beings. Years ago, centuries and millenniums ago, we could only move at the pace of human speed. We were farming or doing things at a human pace as the human beings we are. Or we had animals like horses or cows or oxen. And we could only go as fast as we were meant to go as creatures here on Earth. All of that was natural. We moved at a natural earthly pace. But now we move at the speed of light, or at the speed of the internet. We are connected 24/7 with deadlines and duties that have us torn away from our natural rhythm. Rather than moving at our own natural pace, we're being pulled forward by the speed of technology. Everything in an instant, and it's not a natural pace and nearly impossible to keep up with. Does that make sense? We are never out of touch from the world, but we are never in touch with ourselves anymore. And this creates a massive amount of fear, panic, and anxiety. So let's sit for one more minute and think about that before we move forward. Great. Most of our fear, stress, and anxiety comes from our attachment to getting things done in time or on time. So we either don't have enough time or we have too much time and don't know what to do with all of our time. So we end up in this endless cycle of trying to control our time with our schedules, calendars, and to-do lists. And because we try to control and solve everything, we're usually adding in solutions rather than subtracting or removing the obstacles in our lives that are keeping us from getting where we want to be. Our real focus should be on undoing rather than doing. But again, we were not conditioned that way. So when we try to do that, like we are here by watching this video, sitting in stillness and silence, or calming down, it seems unnatural because we're supposed to be doing. Does that make sense? But here's a mantra you can say now and throughout every day when you feel this type of stress, fear, or panic. There's nowhere to go, nothing to do, and no one to be. When we're present, that makes more sense. Do you need to make money? Yes, but not right now. Do you need to improve your health? Yes, but not right now. Do you need to improve your relationship? Yes, but not right now. Does that make sense? We're not there right now. We are here right now. Right here in this timeless present moment we call now. Just saying this mantra can relieve so much pressure and help us get recentered. Let's do it right now while breathing. So breathe in. Hold for a few seconds. And breathe out slowly. There is nowhere to go, nothing to do, and no one to be. Again, breathe in. Hold for a few seconds. And breathe out slowly. Nowhere to go, nothing to do, no one to be. One more time, breathe in, hold for a few seconds, and now breathe out slowly. Nowhere to go, nothing to do, and no one to be. This alone is a meditation. Don't overthink all this mindfulness and meditation stuff. It isn't as hard as we make it. So to get back to our beginning thoughts about anxiety and panic attack relief, sometimes when we feel like we can't breathe, we get nervous, like we might be dying or something. And here's something I want to tell you. Most of the time, when we feel like we can't breathe, it's simply because we forgot to exhale. It's a natural reaction to stress. We do it subconsciously without even realizing we're doing it. That's right, we just need to breathe. Now, once we're breathing again, we can lean into it a little bit and see what happened, how we feel, and how we can work through this stressful period of time. Remember what I was just saying a few minutes ago? We need to remember to exhale and make room for the next breath. So let's take another few breaths so we can feel more comfortable before diving into some of this. So breathe in, hold for a few seconds, and now breathe out slowly. There's nowhere to go, nothing to do, no one to be, nothing to fix, nothing to buy. Again, breathe in, hold for a few seconds, and now breathe out slowly. One more time, breathe in, hold for a few seconds, and now breathe out slowly. And I want you to know that this feeling will pass. It might not feel like it right now, but it will pass. There might be a feeling of impending doom or overwhelming loss, or even like you're gonna die. But this feeling will pass and you will feel better soon. Okay? Our bodies and our minds can't stay at that heightened level of stress and fear for too long. It's physically impossible. Our body will regulate itself, and we can help it regulate itself a little quicker by doing things like watching this video, meditating, and simply breathing. But you will be okay. And I also want you to know that you might not feel like it right this second, but you are already okay. We simply need to connect with that awareness, and we are doing that right now. The crazy thing is that you might already have a good awareness, and you might already know some of this stuff I'm saying, but when you're in a heightened state of panic, fear, and anxiety, it's hard to stay connected to that awareness, and we start believing all the wild and crazy thoughts that are flooding our senses. It's part of our fight or flight response, or we freeze. We are constantly trying to manipulate the present moment. We're either trying to fight, change, or judge the present circumstances, or we're running away from it. Or sometimes we simply freeze and don't know what to do next. Sensing danger is not a flaw, and reacting to it is not a sign of weakness. We can learn to trust our intuition and feel safe in knowing our minds and bodies are responding exactly how they're supposed to. It is perfectly acceptable to assure yourself that everything is fine and that all is well. So let's again sit in silence for another minute to think about what we just said, and then we'll have some closing thoughts. Beautiful. So I hope you're feeling better now. Listen to this video or recording again and again. Find peace in knowing a few things here. 1, you are not alone. We all drift into fear, worry, or anxiety every now and then. It's a natural human response to the world, and there are solutions. Just sitting here being and watching this is one of the solutions. So good job. Number 2, if you're having a panic attack, it's only temporary. It's physiologically impossible for our bodies to stay in that heightened sense of panic for too long. It will level out. It's designed to do that. If something bad happened, it isn't who you are. It's just something that happened. You're going to be okay. In fact, you are already okay. And third, it's perfectly fine to move at your own natural pace of living. You are exactly where you are supposed to be right now. Trying to keep up with the lightning pace of the world we currently live in is nearly impossible and is the cause of so much of our fear and stress. Try to focus on breathing and being rather than doing. Ultimately, you will find you've gotten much more done and that you are perfectly perfect just as you are. And lastly, I'm here to help. If you're having a hard time getting centered or focused, please reach out and we'll get you where you want to be faster. I'm here to help. Have a beautiful day.